nurse, journalist, psychologist, gymnastics coach, teacher, strength coach, and lifted coach. What has all of this got to do with each other? It's my circle of life. I started, as long as I remember, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a nurse because I wanted to help people with their health. I got to high school, probably around year 8, and realised I didn't really like science. So I thought, we'll tick that one off the list. And my next area of passion that I loved even as a teenager was psychology. So I finished, it was journalism. It was journalism. So when I got to the end of year 12, I had to weigh up, I had two areas, journalism or psychology. I looked at the journalist field and thought the job opportunities at that time were quite limited. I thought if I'm going to go to university for 4 years, I want to make sure I get a job at the end of it. So I thought I'll do psychology because I love that area as well. So I enrolled in psychology. I did a year of psychology. During that year, I had a baby at the age of 18, which didn't deter me. I kept going. I did a year. After a year of psychology, a lot of it was based, I could see, or heading towards being a clinical psychologist or working in a surgery, working in a hospital. And one thing that I don't like is being inside four walls. I love the outdoors. I love being outside. And I thought, if I go keep studying this, I'm going to end up having to work in a hospital, or a surgery, or at least in four walls. So I gave that away. And during this time as well, from about the age of, I think I started at 9 to 16, I was a gymnast. And when I was 14, I put my hand up to become a gymnastics coach. And because I loved coaching. I loved the sport, but I also loved coaching the sport. So when I was 20, I decided I would go and start doing more gymnastics coaching because that's what I loved. So I went and did my gymnastics coaching. Still coach now. So 35 years later, I'm still coaching gymnastics. When I was 30, I got a little bit sick of coaching in the afternoons and during the day, on the weekends. So I thought, well, you know what? I will look into teaching. So at the age of 30, I went and did my teaching degree. And no surprise, I did PE with my love of human movement. I also did history with my love of words, critical thinking, psychology. That's what history is. It's learning the psychology and the words of people and working out where they're coming from and then forming your own opinion from that. Also 10 years, so then I did my teaching, and then at the age of 40, while I was still teaching, I discovered CrossFit. I very quickly worked out CrossFit wasn't a good match for me, thinking I'm going to get injured if I continue this. But I did love the Olympic weightlifting part of it, so I went down the Olympic weightlifting path, did my level 1 CrossFit coaching, did my level 1 weightlifting, started my own club. So come in the strength coaching. So for the last 10 years, I've either been teaching, which I stopped at the start of COVID, and then I started bringing in more strength coaching. So bringing in my experience, which was gymnastics, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, and strength development. And I still do that today. Now, how did I actually come across Instagram? One sentence. I know we're not allowed to mention not supposed to mention Mark England, but I'm going to, because I was following him on Instagram, thought he was hilarious, thought I just loved it. I thought, when's his next post coming out? I'd have a good laugh. Then he changed. He stopped his Instagram, went over to Enlifted Coaches, and I thought, rightio, if I want to keep following Mark, I'm going to follow Enlifted Coaches. So that's that. That's how I came across it. And I've always been a big believer in whatever I want to teach others, because I want to teach other people things before I've even learnt them myself. So rather than jump the gun, I experience those things for myself first, And then I think if this works for me, it can work for others. So I followed and lifted for a year, and then I decided, I listened to Chase on one of the podcasts, and I thought, this guy's awesome. I really resonate with him. There was something about him I resonated with. So I worked with Chase for 5 sessions. I did my stories with Chase, felt the transformation, loved it, and thought, that's it, I'm going to do my level 1. So during this time, I also talked to my husband about how great the Enlifted method was, how powerful it was. So Steve and I both did level 1. And what do I love about this work? I just have to say everything. Everything. For as long as I remember, all I've ever wanted to do is help people, whether it's with their bodies, their minds, their words. I love it. So everything about the Enlifted method is what I love. And it embodies all of my passions. Personally, the Enlifted method has helped me address my imposter syndrome, and 100% has made me be able to say thank you and not fill the gap. It has taught me to be a better parent to my 6 children. It has taught me to breathe low and slow. It has taught me to coach myself better, and in the process to coach others better. The community is hands down one of the best aspects of the Enlifted system. I mean, how many beauty bonds of people I have met virtually is amazing, right? I'm really excited to say we've got Mike Schwartz coming over in a couple of months. We're going to do a movement, mindset, and music workshop here in my yard. I have 4 acres. I have a gym. Really exciting. So, since I've graduated in March this year, I'm up to around 50 one-on-ones, and most of those people have been my strength clients, my friends, my family, and my community. And I have to say, I've probably cried my way through, I've cried my way through a few of those sessions, being close to those people, but it's been tears of appreciation and joy for the transformation it makes in people's lives. And one particular client, which I'd love to share, which I'm going to share, is my one lady who came to me. She was already one of my strength clients, and she said, I'm going to Italy soon. I'm terrified of falling off a cliff. I want to go hiking with my husband. In the past, I haven't been able to do it. I'd get a little bit down the trail and I'd freak out and have to go back crying. So we worked on that for six sessions. We did affirmations. I taught her to breathe low and slow, the power of the breath. And she's just done it. She's been to Italy. She's been to Switzerland. She's conquered all of that. Still with a few tears of fear, but she felt the fear and she did it anyway. She used her words and she used her breath. So that was really, really exciting. Now, where do I want to go with Enlifted? I just want to keep helping the people around me. My community of friends, my gym, my lifters, my athletes. I want to help them one-on-one. I want to develop a manual for young athletes, which encompasses the Enlifted method, both in the written sense, but also in a practical sense. So making them better team players, making them better athletes, making them their relationships better along the way with everyone around them, their parents, their coaches. That's one project I have already underway. The other one I want to do is I want to run workshops in schools, in sports, and with companies. I'm really excited about running workshops. Definitely one of my biggest goals. And the other thing I 100% want to do is I want to be able to teach other people to become Enlifted coaches. So when that time comes, I have my hand up, choose me. I'll help make it happen in Australia. Most of all, and this is from the last podcast that I've listened to 3 times now because it had that much impact on me and my clients. So if you haven't listened to it, episode 62, most of all, I want to be able to, in Mark's words, die as well as I lived.